and be alive. But like I was saying, we're saving everybody out there right now. I'm going to have be popping it, but I have there has USD coordinates. Be popping it. I think I sent it to you.
I'm not hearing anything on your end, Jeremy. You're kind of breaking up on my end.
That better?
There we go. Now I can hear you.
Now you're breaking up. What the hell? Come on. Only two. That better?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, I can hear you now.
All right. Ready to get somewhere now.
Yeah, for like 5 minutes. But anyway, if you didn't hear me before, anybody that's watching this, I'm having horrible weather conditions, and so this is going to be a crappy live stream. Sorry. But Arctic front. But anyway, I've been trying to find ordnance testing for black powder gun, right? Acceptance test for any kind from the U.S. military. I sent you a PDF that the actual Army put out.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't found anything.
Yeah, I know they've got some tests, reference to tests in Haven and Belden, or is it Severn and one of the Colt books. Pretty sure the Colt Bible's got it. But everything specifics other than it has to penetrate so many oak or pine boards. I haven't, and of course, I don't research too much on the military aspect of it. I look more at what people were using out west. But I know there's a few references out there. I don't know the specifics on them.
Yeah. Well, I've been able to find some like 1890s reference for the British military. And it seems like mud, sand, water, dirt. Basically, elemental. It's like, what is the soldier going to be getting into that can mess this rifle or this pistol up?
Right.
So, from from my black powder testing, I'm not really doing anything that wouldn't probably be done, except I'm not trying to penetrate pine boards yet. That is a test that's coming up. I just don't have enough scrap lumber. And but I would figure there would have to be some kind of testing, done to see what they were to make sure it's going to be in the military. It survived.
I read about them referencing a letter that was referencing testing on the 73 single action, and the letter was talking about the safety notch could not be relied upon because it was prone to breakage if the gun was dropped. So I know that one is either in Haven and Belden or Severn wrote about it. Had it in theirs. So I imagine they were doing drop tests if they figured that out pretty quickly. And then,
all right, could you say that again? You broke up on my end. I don't know if it was me or if it was you.
They probably were doing drop tests, considering they talk about the safety mechanism on the 73 single action braking, which would allow a discharge if they carried. That's why the Army started carrying 5 rounds in the Colts, is because of that fact. That's the only reference I can think of off the top of my head where they talk about anything in testing.
I dropped my camera to see if that helped anything. But I don't know.
It might help a little bit.
And you're still choppy on my end.
It is what it is. Anybody that's out there watching, who's the choppier, me or him?
Maybe can I send you an invite link and see if it works better on your phone? Like you have better signal than I do. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I'm about to try something.
Yeah, I caught part of that.
So I'm about to try doing an experimente thing. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna see if the wife's internet connection is a little better than mine, or soon to be wife. I'm sorry about this, guys. I was on another live stream earlier today with one of my friends for his Facebook channel. And it was
That's all right. Looks like on the YouTube side of things, it's kind of quiet over there.
that's good. I'm trying to. All right, go into your freaking settings.
Okay, here's a book that might interest you. I'll turn my camera on so you can see it. It's by Berkeley R. Lewis. It's Small Arms and Ammunition in the United States Service. So this one, the reason you're really breaking up too.
I'm trying to fix it if you can hear me. I had to go into her settings and fix stuff.
Eventually, we might get going.
Choose any bubble. Try and get her stuff to allow her camera and microphone on her phone. This is one. Yeah, I'm live, trying to be.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah, we're trying. Hi, Vanessa Kitty. It's your browser for some freaking reason. It. Open it up. I know it's been a while, and I'm trying to get camera and stuff back. I don't even know if y'all can really hear me or anything right now.
What'd you say?
I said I'm trying to get stuff fixed. I'm doing okay. Like I said, I'm just trying to get this stuff fixed so I can. Try again. Oh God.
That's all right, Average Joe Hunter. We can't hear or see you either.
I think I might have fixed it, but I'm not sure.
Maybe there?
Maybe.
Well, when you get your camera turned back on, I'll turn mine back on.
All right. All right. Now it's. Her, for some reason, hers does not allow me to allow her stuff. Because I can just mute it and have the camera over here, and that way I can still read the comments over here. Check. Uh, one block.
You know what you mean. Fine.
Sound allowed.
Well, something's honking there.
That was my stuff.
Oh, excuse me. Good Lord. That liver don't taste so good second time around.
For some reason, like I said, some reason it's not allowing her to. Oh. Alright, maybe I know I fixed it. Maybe. Allow. This site can't ask for permission. Taking other apps then try. There is something stopping your phone from doing it.
In the words of Buffalo Springfield, there's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear.
I have a feeling it's because it's a freaking Samsung.
Hey, don't be ragging on Samsung. They do pretty good.
Yeah, I mean they make a good phone, but they're oh God. You gotta go through like 12 things to fix one. And then you fix that one. Ah.
Okay, there's that small stuff. There's the nut. There's the spots. There's the whole
Maybe now.
There's an all.
It seems like it's stabilizing. Let's try this now. Maybe. That still good?
I can hear you.
Can you see me?
Well, I'm not right in front of my computer at the moment. Yeah, I can see you.
So apparently I found something that works. Oh, no. I'm trying to reset your phone. Get that. To do the shit. Sometimes when you change app permissions, you gotta reset your phone before they'll take that AdSense stuff. But like I've been trying to say, yeah, kind of worried about doing a drop test with a cap and ball revolver.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
Because even with the, I mean, there's ways I could read it to where it would be kind of safe, but there still would be so many things that could go wrong and could, at the same time,
Oh, we lost him again.
you see what I'm saying?
No, we lost you.
Because
So you just got back.
Yeah, that seems like it works for my end that best.
Let's do a hearing test, see if y'all can hear.
I can hear you. I'm not having a problem hearing it.
Jeremy's still breaking up. Wes Covina's in the house.
Hey, thanks, Wes Covina. It is definitely my phone.
Oh, that was loud, I bet.
Oh.
I don't know what's going on that other end, but Lord. What's convenient? I don't have pants. John joined day off. Yeah, I've been having a lot of days off thanks to a certain beer virus. Hopefully, Jeremy gets everything kind of squared away here pretty quick. I hear lots of R2D2 sounds in the background. Turn my microphone down for that. Oh, maybe I should. Uh-oh, Jeremy went completely off the screen. I hope he's still around. Too loud. So yeah, if you haven't caught on, for those of you just chiming in, Jeremy's having trouble over here on his end, so I don't know how much longer this is gonna go for. K24 says his connection is warping. Yeah, warp 9 and clear out of this area. Don't worry, I'm still here. I just shut my cam off. Oh, maybe he's coming back.
Hey, there I am.
Hey, there you are.
That should be a lot better, right? I have.
Well, might get something done now.
Making camera. Let me remove my soap. Literally. All right.
All right, I'm going to mute my mic because I'm punching holes here, so it's a little bit on the loud side.
All right. For some reason, I'm trying to get this figured out, guys. I'm at because I'm still getting sound from my phone, even though the volume's off. All right, there, I fixed it. No, I did not. Literally, this is my phone, right? My personal phone right now. It is.
Shoot it.
I'm thinking about it.
Don't you dare.
All right, but anyway, I'll mess with that in a minute. I don't need to mess with it right now. For some reason, it is all warpy, fucky wucky. And what's funny is mine is better than her phone, according to when we bought it. My phone has more memory and all this other stuff, but her phone, yeah. Let's not go into that. Of course, she probably hasn't done half the stuff I've done to it. But anyway, chat. Let's see what's going on in chat. Shoot it, no balls. All right, let's read some of these comments. Now that I've been,
I tried to catch up on some of them while you were out.
yeah. Okay, I'm Kingpin. I don't know if he's here or not. Still K24 if you're is here. Vanessa, Average Joe Hunter. Serpent Hanzo. He said he's on the road. West Covina Dodge. Hi. I think I said the Serpent guy's name right. But I find this funny. I come to your live streams, right? And I sit there and talk to you with you for about 10, 20 minutes or however long I've got. And I'll gain a few subs just from talking to you. I don't understand that.
Well, hey, if it gets you more subs, I'm glad it works out for you.
Yeah, it's just I don't want anyone thinking that I'm trying to use you to get more subs. I mean, I'll get them when I get them.
Wes Covina had a question for me. So what happened on this one is this damn nut back here. This is what keeps everything intact. When I first got this and started whacking with it, it would come unscrewed. Apparently, there's a key or something that locks the acrylic mallet head into the center pin. So we put it in a vise, and then just put a wrench on this end, tighten it up, and it stays. The handle's a little loose on it, but it doesn't come apart anymore. But the reason I use this is because it's got some nice weight to it, and I don't have to buy an extra mallet. I just use this. I use this for everything. Except for setting my name, maker's mark, because this thing will glance off that every time. So I've got a different hammer for that.
I use one of those hole punch ones because it's just easier for me. It keeps my hands from, especially in the cold weather, locking up.
Well,
Fibromyalgia is up. Yeah, but I'm talking about it's kind of like a paper hole punch, but bigger, meant for leather. I had it somewhere. I don't know where I put it. I did some leather working.
I've got one too, and I've used it. And
I'm using. I got took the ones that were on there off because I didn't like the size they were making. Like here, this is a prototype quick draw holster, right? These, I went and bought a standard punch and used the smallest head there. I don't know how well if you can tell the difference in hole size. This is just me messing around.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a scrap piece of holster leather that had a brand on it with a bunch of numbers. Didn't look good. I mean, two-toned. It's meant for a short-barreled revolver, which that's a story for another day. All right. Serpent Hanzo. Yeah, you said the name right. Close enough anyway. All right, I'm just gonna call you Serpent. I think that's what I agreed on before. See if I can highlight them. No. I do not have that permission on this phone.
Well, what the crap did I do with that? Yeah, well, I didn't eat it that bad anyway. So the other day I was at Michael's house and I found my first holster I ever made for a walker. It looks like a piece of crap.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good. Hold on one second.
The hell was that?
It reverberated.
Jesus.
Okay. I was trying to make it to where I could view comments and stuff, but...
Oh, by the way, Serpent's name is Jacob. I forgot to change it there earlier. Sorry, Serpent. I wasn't trying to ignore you there. I just had my mind on a couple other things.
Let's hope it doesn't do that time paradox. You shut the fuck up. I don't want to turn it off because I'm afraid if I turn it off, it will kill the whole thing.
Oh, what I could do is things keep going wrong. Just send an invite to everybody that's on the chat, and we all get together and sing sea shanties on here for the rest of whatever time we had. But anyway, you was talking about you're using this kind of a hole punch.
Yeah, something like that. But mine's got the wheel on it.
So that one.
Yeah. Not as fancy though.
This one looks fancy, but it's a piece of shit. I can never get a good cut through with that.
Why is this still making noise? Oh, that's interesting. There, I just stuff it underneath a bunch of stuff.
You gonna touch stuff it?
Yeah, I just threw it a bunch of pillows. Can I show this comment?
I hear a cat.
Yeah, I've got 4 of them.
What the hell? You went from dogs to cats?
Oh no, I got 4 dogs too.
Okay.
Dude, I have a question. Can you show Average Joe Hunter's last comment, the one about the primers?
No, it won't let me highlight. It won't let me highlight on that end. Yeah, you've got a comment from K24 highlighted.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Damn it! Mama.
Stop trying to mate.
So, Average Joe, if you're talking about regular cartridge primers, there's a company out there that's in the process of trying to make a reloading thing for primers. If you're talking about for percussion caps for the black powder guns, that same company does currently have a primer maker that you use a soda can from. It's about $100 for the setup. You buy their little mix. You mix 3 different powders together and then put them in each of the little primers, and they work as good as your store bought. But for normal rifle primers, there's not currently anything available. But like I said, this company is trying to, or last I heard, was trying to get something put together for that. But there are primers that are starting to show up out there. They're few and far between because a lot of them are going to the manufacturers to try to catch up on all the ammo back orders. But right now is not a time to be buying ammunition. That's for sure. Not if they're going to jack up the prices as high as they are. There, Average Joe's comment got highlighted.
Yeah, I'm having. If y'all hear an echo, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do because for some reason it won't stop throwing out sound.
So Average Joe said, yeah, he meant caps from 58. So yeah, let me look it up here. I've got the company bookmarked on my, and then I went and screwed up and I got past the chat. It is, that's not the company's name. Okay, so what you want to do is look up Sharpshooter 22 long rifle reloader. That'll take it to their page, and then they've got a number 11 Percussion Cat Maker, which number 11, yeah, it's a little bit big for compared to number 10, but you can use it in a pinch. Just make sure you prime it down. And I was trying to look. They did have They've got a Burden military case reloader. So that might be for those of you that need for Burden primers. So yeah, number 11, Percussion Cat Maker. They've got it. It's listed as $50. That's just for the maker, and then you got to buy the compound, which I think is $20. Do 2,000 rounds. I think is what they said. It'll load 2,000 rounds of 22 long rifle, but it's the same thing for the muzzleloader primers. And I would share the link, but YouTube kind of gets a little bit fidgety when you start sharing links to stuff like that. And Jeremy disappeared again. Oh, where did our Jeremy go? Oh, where can he be? And he's back.
I'm back. I accidentally bumped her back button, and I had and I'm trying all this crap over here. But in response to his comment, okay, I don't know how well it works on. See if I can close that up for a second.
Well, shipping primers. He's got his store got 20 bricks of small rifle and 10 bricks of small pistol, and they didn't last long. I don't expect they would when they get in stock.
I don't know. Like I said, I was trying to buy a brick, or at least even just a little thing a month, and that having that mentality of buying when I can for what I need saved my ass. But I do not know how well they will work on a cap and ball revolver. I'm going to put that out now. But what you can do is take a nipple off of your revolver and take some aluminum foil and put it around that until it's nice and tight, and it's a complete cap thing. And take some those round cap things, put those in there, and drop like 2 or 3 of those the stuff that's inside. And watch out, they will pop in your face.
You mean the gun cap?
Yeah. I do not know how well it works in the cap and ball revolver. I know how it will work for. I've done it on my sharps using a 22 casing bottom. I've done it for number 11s like that. Just a little acetone that holds that compound down and makes it a little bit more potent.
Right. You got to use those little caps aren't that powerful. So if you've got small vent holes in your nipples, they don't work too well.
Okay, I don't know if anyone else has done this. But I took like my I had a Dremel tool tip, and I took that and put it on the inside of mine, and kind of turned them instead of a straight cap to a straight vent hole, to where it would flare it out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of looked like a blunderbuss barrel. Yeah. And since then, I even did that on my Navy. And when I did that to my Navy, I had less cap damage and better ignition. And on my Remington, I just have perfect fucking ignition now. But the solid frame of a Remington, I mean, it really lends itself to no cap jams. Well, 90% no cap jams, I would say. Because I have gotten a cap jam, but out of 1,000 shots, I've had 2. So 1 in 500. And those 2 were on mud test. So...
Thor's Axe had a question about Jim. I'm not sure which Jim he's talking about.
He's probably talking about Uncle Jim, and I do not know. I have not been on YouTube in the last 2-3 days because it seems like everything I recommended is either a bill that hasn't even made it past committee yet, which I've already tracked that through the government site to watch that. So I mean, I'll get the updates as they come. And when it becomes, a natural threat, then I'll speak about it. But right now, it's kind of like the chicken is saying the sky is falling.
Yeah. Anytime one of them politicians start writing a bill, it becomes a threat the minute the pen touches the paper.
That is true, but I'll wait to see. But I mean, I did have wrote my legislators and all that stuff and said, hey, this would literally get you out of office in about 2 years. That's when they're all up for re-election. So, all right, there was another one I saw that I wanted to look at.
And I think they ought to start doing a Thunderdome election.
I would be.
2 enter, 1 comes out, and whoever comes out wins the election.
Right. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Thor's act was acting about. Sorry. Who was asking about Uncle Jim?
Well, according to Andy, it doesn't sound like he's doing too bad. So, what are you smoking in the background there, you bad boy? You smoking that funny stuff?
It's legal. But no, the wrong cigarette. Oh, I meant to turn this camera off. Oops. I'm trying to figure out if I can pass control over. No, not there.
In case you folks haven't caught on yet, we're 45 minutes into the live stream. We still ain't figured out what we're doing yet.
No, I'm not the most technological advanced. I mean, I still use revolvers.
Although I think if Jeremy cuts out again, I think we ought to start singing that Trailer Park Boys sea shanty that they just released.
What's that? I don't think I've heard that one before.
Oh God, you gotta look it up. It's awesome. Yeah, they just come out with it. Trailer Park Boys is some Canadian shit comedy that I've never watched it, but they put out the sea shanty about cats, and I listened to it, and it was freaking hilarious.
Okay. But yeah, I do have a pack of these.
The hell are those?
It's hemp cigarettes.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Believe it or not, they really help with my fibro. A lot better than taking 4 of these. I smoke half of that, and I get the same effect as that.
You know, if you quit smoking altogether, that would probably, really help your fibro.
Yeah, but then I would start saying things that I probably shouldn't say. I'd really be banned off Facebook then.
Of course, I ain't got room to talk. I'm sitting here dipping Red Man, so.
As long as I keep under 2 packs a day, I should be fine for a while.
When I quit, I was doing 3 packs a day.
Good Lord.
Yeah. When I quit chewing, I was chewing 2 cans a day.
Fuck. Well, yeah. Speaking, you got a holster. I made this holster because I wanted a quick draw holster for my snubby Remington, and I wanted to be able to do it from the side, cross draw, make it just a little bit faster.
Jeremy's about to get out
a little bit. No, I'm still here.
Well, you got really...
No, my other one's cut out.
Oh.
Yeah, it was probably passing the leadership over to one of us. Probably you. Hey man, this is a place for the men. This is where the men talk. Jeremy, we appreciate this. Huh?
Yeah, I remember something. Well, Jeremy's gone. Where'd he go? So until Jeremy gets back, I guess you get to watch me sew a holster. Oh, maybe. There he is.
There we go. If y'all hear an echo, I'm sorry. But yeah, I was trying to say is I wanted a little snubby holster with a little more speed cut into the lead, start the turn a little faster. And I like the way. I mean, it doesn't look the prettiest because this is like the prototype leather I use for everything. It was originally a flap holster prototype that I made and drew out. And I think, Duke, you could tell kind of where I messed up at. Like a lot.
I can't see too much because I'm looking at a real tiny screen. Let me enlarge this so I can see something. There we go.
Find our camera. That see right there. Got a little too deep into that thread, into that hole right there.
I've done that before too, but your relief for your trigger guard is a little bit on the high side. And I would have brought the stitching all the way back around to the backside trigger guard, but it's not terrible for.
Like I said, it's meant to be. It's like I said, it's a prototype quick draw for this. It's supposed to be held like this, quick draw. Like I said, it's a prototype. Just work out the bugs. And I don't know how you put your on the one you do them like this, but I've found that I like the button stitch the best.
Yeah, that ain't bad. That's a pretty decent belt holster or belt loop.
Yeah, but even it's loosened up because for some reason. But if one gets cut because they're individually done, like buttons, I can easily just repair that one spot, and not you go whoop or whoop, which I have had done to another holster.
The way I do it on mine is I start and I go all the way around, and then when I get back to the starting point, I overlap by about 10 stitches.
Okay. That's why I said I didn't know how you did it. But like I said, I like this. And just
Hey, if it works for you, it works for you. That's all that matters.
but it. I mean, it's not the prettiest. It is pretty pretty. But
West Covina says if you screw up stitching on a holster, you make a cod piece out of it.
that is true. Need a little bit more room though.
Anytime I screw up on a holster, it gets cut into and made into a coaster if it's not too tooled up. But
Well, I mean, like I said, on the flap there was branding numbers. On the piece that I cut away to make it a little shorter here, there was another branding mark. I mean, during the tanning process, I mean, you can tell it two-toned.
so I've got this one that I've been working on. I showed this on the chat the other night.
Yeah.
If I can cut the light out there. So I thought, what the heck? I was going to pull this out after that chat, and I was talking with the guy. I thought, I'm going to practice a little more. And I have a scrap piece of a holster that this part got messed up. So I cut it off, and then I just made a little holster, just the body. I got rid of the skirt.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to use that to kind of just practice shading on. Well, I don't know. It's late at night. I'm half asleep and confused, and I wind up grabbing the good one, and I started just pounding away with the shader, just practicing, and I ruined it.
Mm-hmm.
So now this one looks like crap with that skirt on there. And I did a very crappy job that it's not repairable.
It happens. We're only humans.
Yeah. See, Jacob had a good one. It looks as though we're experiencing some technical difficulties, but don't worry, folks. We're still on the air. Yep.
Average. That other one coming. Okay, I'm gonna try something. It will not let me show it. Okay. Oh well.
She called us a hillbilly chat.
Oh, good. There's a draft on the window. I just redid all that window.
Yeah, got drafts in the house. I thought I had all the drafts fixed in my house, and we're sitting at about -4 right now. And yeah, there's lots of drafts left in my house.
It's currently 25 outside. Feels like 3.
I think we're going to hit -15 here tomorrow night.
Oh, and the thing is, we've got more coming.
Jerry, you'll start getting what we're getting now up here. But yeah, I was hoping, I didn't go to South Dakota this year, so I'd get to skip out on all that cold, nasty weather. Nope. I get to enjoy it. I can remember down here where I'm at, where we had Februarys where we'd hit 90 degrees by the Valentine's Day. Not this year.
I was hoping for some nice weather. I got to put in a new breaker box in my house, which I can't do because I need heat, and to have heat, I got to have the breaker box. Because I already pulled the old one out because, it's going to be, I have a few days of nice weather. Since I'm adding on, I had to go from a 4 breaker to, I think I'm putting in a 6 breaker now, if I'm remembering correctly. And that way I could have a double breaker for my heating unit, heating and cooling unit.
I got a breaker in Grandma's house.
It's funny. I said I was not going to do any HVAC work. So I'd done that all spring and summer long, right? Wasn't going to do none of it during the winter time. I've had to repair my mother's. I've repaired everything but the heating coil. And it would be cheaper to get a whole new unit and put it in than to get the heating coil for her unit.
I got to fix my grandfather's breaker. Grandma's got to hire an electrician because we went in the other day. We blew a breaker, and we noticed 2 switches turned off. We couldn't figure out why there was 2 switches off. Well, you turn one on, and that particular room that had blown come back on. And we thought, well, we'll turn this other one on and see what the hell it's doing. You turn it on, the one you just turned on before would blow and shut off. So what the heck? I opened it up. My grandfather, in his infinite wisdom, and my grandfather was not a stupid man. It's just that he did stuff that, would make you think he's a lunatic. We went in there, we pulled that cover off, and apparently he wanted to have a 30 amp breaker, but was too cheap to go to the store and buy a 30 amp breaker and put it in. So what he did is he wired 2 15 amp breakers together.
So basically, he made double 15 breakers.
Yeah. And, you couldn't have both of them running or one would blow. So I told Grandma, I said, well, either I'm going to rewire this, which I really don't want to do. I said, or you're going to hire an electrician. And she got an electrician to come in and look at it. And he said, it's going to take about $700 to put a new box in and rewire it. And he said, but we'll rewire it to where you've got plenty of power on them. There'll be the proper size amperage breakers on it. So once Corona kind of settles down and things warm up, we're going to do that. But yeah. And then Dad and I was playing with the breaker box again because we blew another breaker in the house and found out that one was also tied into 2. But at least on that one, the 2 run together.
Well, that's good. I'm trying to think because. Hold on 1 second.
My poor furnace keeps running nonstop.
Yeah, and negative. What, you're at 4?
I think we're just above or just below 0. I'm not sure what temperature is right now. I could look right quick. See if my thermometer's working.
Thermometer.
Yeah, we're just above at 5.
Hey, you want to know how I know it's freaking cold outside?
Go out and you shiver.
That's the inside of my window.
Holy
From
crap.
condensation. That's just the condensation from the air that's in between this little felt unicorn blanket.
Yeah, that's a little chilly.
Yeah. Last time it got this cold, it was about 23 years ago here in Arkansas.
Yeah, we're setting at about that for here in Colorado. That was when our record was set in the 80s.
Oh, no, we haven't hit our record low yet.
Well, we're going to break ours here in about 2 days.
But I'm just saying, it's getting there. And that's when
we broke our record heat, and now we're going to break our record cold.
And believe it or not, that is a double pane window. Yeah, and there's still frost.
Yeah, but you guys got a lot more humidity down there in the south.
Well, I have a 10-foot deep ditch in front of my property, 15-foot deep ditch on the end of it, a pond at the another corner adjacent to it, fields all around me, and then a swamp down 1.5 miles down that way.
That sounds like a good place to live.
In the summertime, I can go outside my door and shoot my revolver all I want, and no one say anything.
Well, I was just thinking all that water around you get some good duck hunting in there.
Oh, they fly right over my house, dude. I literally can sit in my front yard in a folding lawn chair and they just fly right on over. And I don't even have to be in camera or nothing. But you know what pisses me off? I bought duck tags, right?
Yeah.
The guy behind the counter thought I said turkey. So I had turkey tags, just know where to go hunting for turkey. Had to go re-buy my duck tags. And then I couldn't find any of my duck loads. Well, I've moved 3 times since then, so they're somewhere.
This year I went and I bought some of the higher dollar duck loads because at Walmart steel just wasn't cutting it for me. Not when I hit a duck 3 times and don't knock it down at 20 yards. So I bought some of that heavy hammer. It's got a little bismuth in it. Boy, I ever shot, if I'd shoot at a duck, I'd knock it down. One of them I didn't recover because he got in the reeds and I couldn't find him. But then our duck hunting down here went to crap because there's no water and it got real warm. And then one day when Dad and I went out scouting looking for ducks, of course I didn't have duck shot with me. I had just regular lead for rabbits, and the place was froze over and the ducks were gone by the time I got back there the next week.
Well, I guess this is growing up the way I did. I bought one of those jackets that have the holders in it, that have the shot shell holders on one side and rifle cartridge holders on the other. Well, one of those good with the hunting bags in it and all that stuff, which I never used. I ain't stupid. I've already had a squirrel bite me in the ass one time using one of those. It's not fun.
That reminds me of a story. I don't know if I should tell it on YouTube or not.
Well, no, here's the thing. I had hit it in the head with a .22 Magnum hollow point. It should not have been biting anything.
Yeah.
It bit me in the ass.
Went goose hunting one day, and he shot a goose, and it went down in the slough. There's a lot of reeds and stuff, and he went out to get it, picked it up, and was bringing it back, and on the way back, he was hit by the undeniable urge caused by eating Taco Bell.
Oh,
and
God.
So he dropped his waders. There was a log right there. Dropped his waders, sat on the log, and perched the goose over beside him as he was
answering
emptying.
nature's call.
And he said he was sitting there just kind of hoping for things to get done. And he kind of got done. He said, I'm going to wait here just a little bit longer, and watch for the geese to fly over because he had a shotgun in his hand. He's a true hunter. He ain't going to let a little bit of a bowel movement stop his hunting. And he said he was sitting there looking at the sky, and all of a sudden he had this most terrible pain in his scrotum.
Oh!
The goose that he had shot, that it was laying on the log that he thought was dead, was now behind the log, firmly grasped got a hold of his scrotum.
Mm.
So I said after that, whenever he sees a dead goose on the ground, he picks it up and takes and twirls it around until he knows his neck's broke, so he never has to worry about getting bit again.
Mm. Well, anyway, let's change the subject on this. Let's go back to my hunting jacket. Let's just say that made my wife go, ooh. Well, soon to be wife. Yeah.
I got dead over there again.
Yeah. But I usually carry 2 slugs and then some bird shot that works really well. That Walmart bird shot, that, what is it, Winchester stuff, that works really good. It drops squirrels and rabbits, and I usually have that. And then I'll have my goose duck load. that I usually reload myself because I'm sorry, most factory ammunition for that is expensive. Well, I don't know about your neck of the woods, but it's expensive for me. Well, I could buy 2 boxes of the Winchester stuff for the cheapest box of that stuff for 20 gauge.
I bought the heavy hammer. I paid $25 a box. Usually the Winchester steel cost me, I think the most I paid for the Winchester was $9 a box. Well, except for I went to the dry lock, and that's a little bit more spendy. I tried some of that dry lock. Well, I was going to try it. I bought it. I didn't get it used, but and then for geese, I went and bought a box of that heavy tungsten, and that tungsten stuff is high dollar. But I'll tell you what, I shot around, and it'll knock down anything.
Well, like I said, I usually reload. And by the way, Dead Horse asked, so wait, he shot on a goose?
No, the goose he was waiting to see if he was going to have any more of a movement, and sometime between setting the goose down on the log, getting done with the last movement, and waiting for it to be done, the goose had crawled down and got a hold and got his revenge.
Yeah. And then Jacob said that was definitely a "you might be a redneck" joke right there.
You might be a redneck if you've ever been sexually assaulted by a goose in the woods.
Oh God. Oh. But
call your boss, say, yeah, I'm going to be late to work. Nah, goose bit me in the scrotum. You're sorry. Hell, I drive a stick shift.
Oh God. We're evil people. Maybe. I don't know. But anyhow. But yeah, that's usually when I go out, that's usually what I have on one side. And then if I'm taking my rifle, I've just been taking my sharps here lately. Because, well, it will drop literally anything in North America. I think if I can't drop it in one shot, I need to start running.
Hey, Willie. Willie Bulletman's in the house.
Hey, Willie.
You just missed the best goose hunting story that we could tell.
Oh. Oh. I was waiting for the goose feather toilet paper.
Well, when you do that with the goose, you can't run them head first. You got to run them butt first. Otherwise, the feathers just slide off.
Oh, God.
That's what you call a honker.
Oh, God. I have a feeling both our channels are banned right now. We just don't know it yet.
Yeah. I don't know. I got a notification up on my window, so I might be.
I don't know. I'm going to try something. Oh, man. Blink.
Oh, man.
I meant to do this earlier, and I totally freaking forgot.
What did you forget to do?
There we go. Okay. Willie was asking K24 if he would be doing a live chat later. I didn't know K24 did live streams. He never told me he did live streams. No, what I'm trying to do is what I've been meaning to do is when I have guests on, share their channel. So even if they're a bigger channel than me, that way some people might find them. Because let's face it, you've been shooting black powder a lot longer than I have.
God, I started in 2012 or 2011, 2010.
I started about.
I started doing the YouTube in 2012 or 2013.
You know, when was my very first video? Because that's still up. Well, I'm curious now. How long ago was my very first video? This guy actually got me wondering.
I don't think my first video I know is not up anymore because I screwed up when I first started, and I used an email address that was associated with my school, and then found out after I'd been at it for a couple of years that email was going to get deleted when I left the school, so I had to start a new channel because they deleted that old channel.
Well, I can tell you this: it's been 2 years since I've had my Pieta Colt 1851 Navy. I wish I fought to keep that one. That out of the box. That was a nice revolver. Like literally, like it only at 20 yards only shot 1 inch high.
Yeah, that's pretty good for a Colt.
Yeah. 3 years ago. And that's about when I got my first black powder rifle was my Knight LK93. Which is now LK93/2018 smoothbore. It's about it's 16-ish gauge. It's a 50 cal that's been converted into a smoothbore so I can use it for a shotgun. So whatever a little bit bigger than a half-inch translates to. I had it wrote down at one point.
28 gauge.
28.
Because let's see, 20 gauge is 62. 12 gauge is a 69, so 16 gauge is going to be in between them two. I forget. I know. I think 44 was like a 38 gauge. So it'd be like a 30 or 2 gauge somewhere in there.
Well, that's probably why I can't find a low. I mean, sometimes a 16 gauge shotgun gauge thing will sit on it, and sometimes it won't. And I mean, that's the biggest gauge I have is a 16. Right? I don't know. Shotguns always confuses me for some freaking reason. I can remember a 20 is smaller than a 12. And then that's kind of where I guess because I've used them so much that's just stuck in my memory.
Bigger the number, the smaller the gauge, the bigger the bore, or the smaller the bore. So yeah, 12 or 11 gauge is 75 cal.
Well, like I said, it's I can put 65 grains of black powder in there. a non-lubed patch on top of the powder. I use like a tablespoon scoop to whatever that equals out to. I think last time I weighed it was about a half ounce or an ounce, something like that, of lead shot, and then a lubed patch on top of that, and at 30 yards, it will still hit all of you. With buckshot, I get 4 36 caliber round balls in to hit a man-sized target at the same pace. So I mean, it shoots pretty accurately, and all I did was take the sights completely off of it, take the front sight, post screw, and put it there to use as the bead sight. Because I was lazy when I did that part. I mean, a 50 cal will still fit in it to use as a slug, but it, like, even the Lee real bullet with that expanded top barely touches the sides.
Oh, you're probably looking at a 51 or 52.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It just, but of course, after a couple shots, that Lee is a little stiff going down, but Willie, so what's new with me? He asked. One, I'm getting married again.
Guilty again.
Yeah, I know. Third time's the charm, right? Hopefully. I don't want to lose your ass. You treat me as well as I treat you.
That kind of makes you start scratching your head.
Well, you never know. I might be the one that fuck up.
Wife.
Well, here's the thing. I might be the one that fuck up. She is half Mexican. You got to remember that.
Hey.
You got a spicy temper. Now I know why the Texans liked them so much. But anyway. But no, the thing is, me and her actually went to school together, and we're in some of the same classes, just never really talked. Unless it was for something we had to do. I think we maybe talked at staff meetings. If you were on the staff meeting, I can't remember.
Yeah, I was. Sometimes.
I was there most of the time. I was the armory officer. Yeah, I was entrusted with actual firearms in a school, in a high school, for the rifle team.
They were idiots.
See, Jacob asking, buying a used 51 Navy be worth it if it's, excuse me, good Lord, I'm tasting that liver again. If it's in good condition, yeah.
Well, I mean, even if it's not, like, I mean, a little rust, that's not really going to do much to it.
Yeah, rust, I wouldn't worry about the function. If it has a crappy action in it, then you want to be a little wary, because then whatever you don't pay up front, you're going to pay in parts later on.
Well, I mean, on a Navy, if the trigger, like even the trigger springs on one of those things, you can replace it with, if you're a competent metal worker or have some gunsmithing training, you can make your own spring out of that from a bobby pin, like a hair bobby pin.
Yeah. I've seen.
I mean, it'll work until you get parts. That's kind of why my snub nose Remington is the way it is, because I broke the grips, so I'm gonna remake those. I took it apart to clean it, and then went up to use the bathroom. Dogs came through, and I found the hammer. I found the hammer in the cylinder.
What happened to your gun?
I took it apart to do a deep clean on it, right? Because I
Yeah.
had antiqued it, and I did a decent job of antiquing it. It looks like it's been in a desert somewhere for a couple of years. But I had set it down to clean it and put some browning on it to, so that it won't rust anymore. Right? I took
Yeah.
all the parts off. Had to go number 2. Big dogs come through. Knocked my gunsmithing table over that I was using because I wanted to watch the movie that was on TV, and so I sat down in my living room to do that. I found the cylinder and the hammer for it. I lost all the screws, all the internal workings of it. Oh, and since it's rainy weather, I'm gonna be doing. I hope YouTube allows me to do it. I'm not really sure,
With it.
but I found a way to make putting the spring that goes back here a lot easier, and I think you might find it interesting.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I just gotta
What
get a
did I-
day when the cats are not trying to mate. Might throw them in a cabinet somewhere and let them just have at each other. Because they're all still young cats. And if anyone that's ever had a lot of young cats at the same time, and one male and 3 females, the 3 females like to run and jump and fight each other, trying to see who's going to get the vitamin D first. But so yeah, I went to Dixie Gun Works looking for Remington parts. Temporarily unavailable. EMF
Yep.
temporarily unavailable.
Yep.
Midway doesn't carry them. Apparently, I can get another conversion cylinder, but that's about it for a
That's
Remington.
what you're gonna find. Nothing's
I
coming out of Italy.
I thought about buying one of those tradition starter kits that have the brass frame Remingtons. And just putting the parts into that because it's a brass frame Remington.
Somebody said stuff was starting to sneak in from Italy, but it's going to be a while before parts come in. With everything, the new administration going on, it might be very hard to find parts.
Oh, you remember when Pieta bought out EMF, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was still trying to figure out narrow it down on my sharps. My sharps is from 1975 EMF model with a Patterson breech block, or the falling block part. That has apparently been custom fitted to it.
Well, EMF used to be just a general importer, so they dealt with Navy Arms, which later, Pedersoli took over a lot of what Navy Arms was doing. So yeah, they were just an importer. Now Pieta owns them, so they're going to become probably what you're going to see is they're going to become a Pieta exclusive importer.
Probably, but I mean, it's a damn good sharps. But I have a question. You've owned a sharps, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever have problems with the trigger?
No,
because if I pull the trigger, it's like you're supposed to slowly, to slowly break it. It will go straight to half cock and stop. But if I pull it kind of like a shotgun trigger, pull, it goes bang.
So Probably what's going on, and there's supposed to be a fly on the tumbler, or excuse me, on the sear. No, it's on tumbler. There's a fly on the tumbler that once it goes to full cock, it falls in the way and it will not let the trigger go back into the half cock notch. I imagine that fly is missing or damaged.
Well, I took it apart and I had, the schematic for it, and everything's there. As far as I can tell, nothing's damaged. I mean, nothing looks damaged. I took that lock completely apart and examined everything. It's what, 30 to 2005. 41-year-old rifle. I think you can have a little bit of a hiccups.
And yours is a single trigger?
Yeah, single trigger.
Yeah, mine's a double.
Well, mine's a Cavalry Sharps.
Yeah. And, a lot of them old guns, excuse me, a lot of them guns had a really hard trigger pull. I handled an original Spencer carbine that had an atrocious trigger. If you put it on half cock, you could not lower the hammer down to bring it to let it off at all. So one guy tried to show me, he says, I bet you can't let that hammer down. You could pull on that trigger all night long, all day long, and it would not release. You couldn't pull the hammer back. It would lock up because everything was so stiff. And then when you brought it back to full cock, I bet it was probably about a 15, 20-pound trigger on it to fire it. So that's very common for the old guns back in the day to have them stiff triggers. But then again, they weren't made really for being accurate arms. They were made for shooting and get the bullets down range.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just kind of different trigger discipline, because when I started noticing the problem after I started shooting my 22 WMR smokeless rifle, which has a very nice, crisp, match grade trigger pull. Well, for that, it's the stock trigger, but it's been used since the 70s a lot. So it's kind of that very, you just barely pull it and it goes bang.
Yeah.
Which is nice when you're just trying to, especially if you got gloves on you.
Look at say pure red pepper.
Hold on one second. Okay. Her cat, Master, just ate some pure ground red pepper.
Well, I bet that cat's regretting that decision.
He's wanting more bit.
He's going back for more.
My great-grandmother used to have a cat that eat dill pickles.
This cat will eat vegetables over meat. If you put down like an actual small portion of what you would give yourself, he'll eat the vegetables first, then the meat. And not complain about it. Oh, and West Covina said night. Do you really need pants to eat supper with?
Unless you want to get a mustard on your wiener.
I usually don't eat with mustard, so. Oh. Apparently, I had to go through and age restrict all my videos.
Yep.
Because in the last update, even though I have my channel set to where only 18 and above are allowed to watch my channels, a 15-year-old got on my channel. So I had to go through cover my ass.
Yep. Ooh,
And it wasn't my fault that it happened either.
Yeah, I'm afraid that YouTube and them's not going to be too friendly towards our kind of channels in the future. Not
Probably
that
not.
They're going to become more hostile towards us. Well, it's going to be a tight fitting holster.
Probably. Oh, but going back to Jacob's comment, I bought a brand new Navy when I got it. But I have bought used guns before. My Sharp, well, I mean, it's from the 70s. I haven't been around since the 70s.
Contrary to popular belief.
Huh?
I say contrary to popular belief.
I know, right? It has to be the mustache. The 70s porno mustache.
People think I'm in my 40s. I'm like, no, I'm not that old.
Oh, you want to know what's bad? I went to go buy cigarettes, right? Showed them my ID. Says, "Oh, you're good." She doesn't even take it and scan it and all that stuff like they're supposed to. She just looks at, "Oh, you're old enough." I'm like, "Well, how do you know?" I says, "Oh, I've seen the one." The one where? Oh, in front of the 9.
I got, when I was still chewing Longhorn, I went in to buy some. The girl went to card me, and I looked at her and like, Jesus. I was like, do I look that old? I said, that's the first time I've been carded since, I grew a beard out. She said, well, I still got to see it. And she looked at it, and she's like, well, you're several years younger than me. So I'm looking at her, I'm like, damn, you look like you're about 10 years younger than me. So I must not be aging very well.
Well, I only get carded when they around here now when they hire like the ones that are just now able to legally smoke, which is the new 21-year-olds who don't know me very well.
Well, here in Colorado now they got to card anybody. There's no exceptions. Everybody's got to be carded. You can be a 65, 70, 80-year-old person, they'll still card you. Says he's looking at an Army San Marco. That right there tells me I'd skip it.
Are they really that bad?
Just because well, you can't get parts for them anymore.
Well, you can't.
No.
Couldn't you fit parts from like a Uberti or a Pieta to it?
Yeah, but you better, if you're not good at manufacturing parts or making adjustments on parts, you're going to have to get a gunsmith to do it. And in my experience, finding gunsmiths that are willing to work on those kind of guns are few and far between.
Yeah, I know. It took me forever to find someone that was willing to mill out the rifling in my LK93. And that was literally just smoothed out. I mean, it wasn't that long of a work because there was like literally. It's supposed to have like 3,000ths of a rifling groove to it.
Yeah.
It was, you could tell the rifling was there after you shot it the first time. It was not clear, distinctive rifling. It was, I probably could have done it with a long stick and some heavy coarse sandpaper and a powerful enough drill.
Well, out on my sharps, on my Patterson sharps, rifling is very, very thin.
On this one, for its age, I would say it handled what it's done well. Still a very accurate rifle. It's just the shooter now. Still not used to it. I mean, I'll still hit a man-sized target in the chest at God knows what distance, but it's like clay pigeons. That's my ultimate enemy. Clay pigeons. Would also probably help if I wasn't trying to replicate the actual military cartridge too.
Yeah, it could be a lot on the load too.
Well, I'm trying to save up to get Arizgon their sharps mold. To see if maybe that would work.
Yeah, give it a try. I know I just seen him post on there that he's got a lot of bullet molds that are out of stock. I don't know if he's got the Sharps one in stock or not, but I get it why
Well, I
he
mean,
can't. Problem he's
well,
facing is every time he makes a new order, they up the price on him from the manufacturer.
yeah. Well, right now it's mainly throw change in here, throw change in here, throw change in here. What do I need at this current time? I need parts for a Remington.
Yeah.
I need powder more than I need the parts for Remington, so I'll buy the powder. I need this or I need that, so.
Well, considering you can't get either one of those very easily right now, I get the bullet mold.
I can get black powder, because powder ink is literally about an hour away. I can call and reserve a pound or two. I think the limit right now is 2 pounds to reserve, and they're $30 a piece.
Yeah.
But if I do that, I don't have to pay the hazmat fee that I'd have to pay from Midway.
See, what I do is I order bulk because then the hazmat fee becomes minuscule.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but I don't need 25 pounds of powder.
I ordered 10 from Graff and Sons, and this is several years ago. And at the time, GoX was $17 a can. No, I take that back. It's $18 a can. And by the time you divided the hazmat fee out and the regular shipping fee, it came out to just at $20 a can. And at that time, that was what I was paying to pick it up local per pound was $20 a pound.
Well, if I was to order online, the minimum I found on most online sites is 10 pounds.
Graphs, you can order 1 pound at a time, but by the time you pay for 1 pound of powder and pay the shipping fee, you've bought 3 pounds of powder, 2 or 3 pounds of powder.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if I go in her car, we can literally put the shipping fee, fill her tank up, make it over there, back twice. Then put the hazmat fee in her car, make it over there and back twice, and still have gas left over.
Yeah.
So I'd rather put it into her tank and then go over there. And we do have a new chat. Hold on. But I'm only off track. But I usually just buy 2 pounds, a pound of double F and a pound of triple F. And believe it or not, the triple F goes faster than the double F.
Oh yeah.
And you would figure the double F would go faster because I got a rifle, a black powder rifle, two black powder rifles, and a black powder shotgun. And that's what I mainly hunt with is black powder guns.
Really
but no,
one load of that shotgun is probably what, 70, 80 grains?
Most accurately out of it is 65 grains.
All right, now you take that 44 years and you take 6 times 20 grains, you're shooting 120 grains per load on a revolver.
I mainly right now been shooting it in because the way they changed the law, I can no longer shoot round ball out of it, and I don't have a conical mold. I have to have a 200 grain conical, and the only 200 grain conical that I have is 445 Colt, which I have one over here because I was doing some loading earlier and found the ashtray as I was trying to pick it up. Is this thing? It is the Lee 200 grain rounded flat point, flat nose, which is lubed. And if I don't know if you ever tried loading one of those into a revolver.
They ain't fun.
Huh?
They're not fun to load.
You have to take a hammer and a ball starter. Just to get it all the way seated properly.
I've loaded them in the Walker before, and I've loaded them in my Pieta Remington. The Walker's a lot easier, but the Pieta Remington, if you get them started square, they load all right. But getting them square, that's the problem.
Isn't your Walker 4.55?
I don't know. I shoot a 4.54 round ball out of it, and I have really good accuracy with it. It will take a 4.57, but I use 4.54.
Okay.
And it gives you a very faint ring of lead, so there's not really a lot of surface contact with the ball and the rifling, but it shoots damn good.
Oh, I found out what there's a very, I don't know if anyone's ever noticed this, but there is a very slight taper to those revolvers, to them. Because at the forcing cone on my Remington, it starts at in the cylinder it starts at 4.53. Then the forcing cone is 4.52.5, and then at the very end of the barrel is 4.52.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's narrowly tapering down. So maybe by the time maybe your Walker's the same way, and it doesn't have that much free travel.
They all kind of taper down because you can't just take a 4.54 and shove it right into a barrel into rifling. You've got to have a little bit of a taper for it to go smooth.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about it seems like it's all the way down the barrel though. On the inside of the barrel, not the outside of the barrel. Like on the inside. Luke S says, I found 20 pounds. I guess he's talking about powder. Jake, Dead Horse responding to Jacob says, look for a triangle stamp for AMS. Okay. But yeah, like I said, my hunting laws is you need a 200 grain conical. So I went to go order a 200 grain conical during COVID that would fit a cap and ball revolver. I found one on 4 different sites. Lee makes one. I don't know how good it is. Well, I know how good their 36 caliber is because I've shot it out of my Navy when I had it. I don't know how good their 4 would work out of mine.
Arizgon bullet molds. That's a 250 grain conical.
Yeah, and I was going to get like a cheap one, for hunting purposes. And actually, I think that one that I was looking at, it was like $20 for 220 grain conical. But it's by Lee. It's double loop grooved. It's got the rounded tip to it. It kind of looks like kind of like this, but rounded instead of flat, like completely rounded. And these are underneath this right here. It's kind of like the Lee real bullet, but for 44 caliber.
Yeah, I've got that mold.
How well does it shoot, though? Have you had any luck with it?
I haven't put it on paper, but I've shot it, and like I said, they're a pain in the butt to load.
Well, like I said, the one I looked at, it looked like where the lube grooves were a little tapered, like inwards.
It
So
is a little bit. It still don't sit down in the chambers, and honestly, I don't bother with lubing it with the lube grooves because then you can't handle the SOB to get it into the chamber. So I just use a felt water, put lube on top of it.
I have never had any luck out of having any kind of accuracy out of a felt wad.
And see, I get my best accuracy with a felt wad.
Well, it just seems like it's better if I have the lube on top. It seems like if I put that. But for my 45 Colt, which the cartridge conversion, I bought it for modern gun hunting mainly, not really YouTube. But use that. I did load a cylinder full of 200 grain Lee rounded flat points, and oh god, I couldn't do it on the revolver. I actually broke my loading lever trying to do it on the revolver.
Mm-hmm.
It still holds the cylinder pin in, so I mean, it still fits on there good, so it stays on there to look pretty.
What kind of lead are you using?
Well, for my sharps, I actually have I'm using 9. Well, in my caster, it's 4 pounds of pure lead to 1 pound of wool weight lead that I have I have cleaned and literally sat there for all day, just scraping out until there was none left to scrape out, which did drop its hardness down a lot, but still it's pretty hard.
Yeah.
But when you've got 4 pounds of pure lead mixed in with that, it's as close as historically accurate to the 10-to-1 as I can get, because I don't got a big slot.
Pure lead. That's all I ever use is just straight pure lead.
Well, for my round bows and my conicals, that's what I use. But it's just, well, you remember I had that one screw that bananaed, right? That I had to go from both sides and drill out.
Yeah.
To get the ramrod out, and that's the ramrod that broke. Finally. So, I mean, once I get a new ramrod, I mean, I slide it in, and there it is. It's good to go. Oh, I know. Someone's talking about me. Probably the chat.
What's that?
Night Serpent or Jacob. I said, my nose was itching, so someone must be talking about me.
Oh, gotcha.
But no, it's just, for some reason, even though they say 4.54 when I caliper them, it seems like they're bigger than that. Because, when I put them on that forcing cone, they barely go into that forcing cone. but I can literally put a round ball that's the same diameter halfway in there. I don't know. It's like they're not like maybe I got a bad mold, even though it says 454. My caliper say 454. It's not.
I'll let you in a little secret when you're running with aluminum molds. When that aluminum gets hot, it expands, so it runs them a little bit big.
Well, I do the way I do when I actually cast. I do 3 pours round ball, 3 pours conicals, 3 pour, and go back and alternate so they have a chance to, kind of cool off a little bit, so they don't expand that bad. But I guess maybe I need to do 2 pour cycles.
No, because then what's going to happen is you're going to start getting real bad wrinkled bullets.
Really?
I just keep consistent, keep the mold up to temperature, and just keep running it.
Well,
okay. It's going to shave it down either way, so if it's a little big, it ain't going to matter on that revolvers.
Yeah. Oh, I think I might know the difference. For my round balls, I just drop them into a pie pan, like a cheap aluminum pie pan. For my conicals, because I do shoot some of them with Trail Boss, or I had 2 other I was going to try out, but that didn't work out because, let's not go into that one. Ex-wife decided to take 2 half bottles and mix them together. And one was unique, and one was my shotgun powder for my Clay's pistol and
yeah, that's a quick way to blow a cylinder.
Yeah. So I took that and I built a fire, and I gave it a proper send off. I made some fireworks on the New Year's. But in the place I usually buy my unique and stuff, they're out of stock right now. But the guys there, and they said when they get some in, they'll let me know, and they'll put a bottle back of unique and Clay's back for me.
I don't know why guys like Trail Boss. I'm not a very big fan of it.
I like how it's very hard to double charge it.
Yeah, but if you look at least on the loading sheets that I've looked at, your window of variance before you get into dangerous loads is not nearly as wide as with some of the other powders. One thing I noticed, like on 45 Colt, I don't remember how many grains, but minimum grain was
for a 200 grain cast bullet is 5.7.
5.7.
That's the minimum.
The max load usually is 6.1. So you've got 0.4 grains of wiggle room before you're over pressure. That's why I'm a very big fan of Trail Boss.
No, it's 6.5 now with a 200 grain conical.
Well, anyway, it's not a very big wiggle room, whereas with Clay's, I think he had like a full grain and a half or something like that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's kind of hard to double put in a 45 Colt all that powder in there unless you are crushing it down.
Did you ever see a video on YouTube here where that one guy loaded his black powder Remington with Trail Boss instead of black powder to prove?
Yeah, and I'm sitting here like, no.
Yep. Yeah, he says it ain't blowing the cylinder. I'm sitting there thinking, you might not be blowing that cylinder right now. It might not blow for a couple hundred rounds. What you're doing is you're slowly, and I'm not sure what his pressure reading is, But if it's over pressure, what's happening is it's slowly pushing that metal apart. And eventually it's just going to reach the stage where it can't take it anymore and it's going to turn loose. You can only apply stress for so long doing that, and it's going to turn loose.
Yeah, that's why, like, for brass frame revolver, they say download it. Like literally, like, their max load for a brass frame is like half of like what I put into my round ball load.
That's more because with the base pin on the Colt styles, it starts to strip it out, and the cylinder starts to, the teeth on the ratchet of the cylinder starts to dig into the frame.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you know, that's still pressure and metals. I mean, let's face it, steel's steel. I mean, let's face it, they're not making these out of high dollar. This is going to be on an airplane quality steel. You know, this is probably a little better than pig iron metal. It's
very good metal, that's for sure.
I mean, I've heard that the newer models are a lot better than the originals that first came in. That they're a lot stronger. That you want, if you were going to do it with do a cartridge conversion, you want to do it with a newer model because they found out this is done, so they, you know, test these to where they can have off the shelf practice ammo in them.
Well, and see, when they test them at the factory, they need to I think the testing now requires a 400% overload pressure. I can't remember for sure, but it's
something like
substantial charge.
I think it's 300 or 400. I mean, you would have to. I think what I was read in one article is it had to survive a half a case of the proprietary cartridge full of it was a really hot pistol powder. That's how they've decided that steel is good or not.
Yeah.
But still, even when you're making, it's a holster. It's pretty.
Yeah, it's a little too tight, so it's going to have to be adjusted.
Honestly, depends on what the person wants to do with it. Is it easy to try to shoot quick on it?
It's not fully seated in this. It's not fully seated all the way down.
Oh, is it not?
Yeah, it's got to go. And
no,
it feels like
a Slim Jim.
All down here.
That's a Slim Jim, right?
Yeah.
Is that the California pattern or the early military version? Because for a lot of people understand there is two versions of it.
Well, California rig, they're all just Slim Jims to me. But this one, civilian half flap. But yeah, the barrel should come down to about here, and it's sitting right about there.
Would wet forming it help?
I don't wet form these. Yeah, you could wet form it, but I don't like my guns sitting in them when they're wet, because when you take the gun out, they're still soft. But the what's catching it up is right here. I've got this dip down. It's putting pressure on it there, and then it's got a slight taper down towards the muzzle end, and it's pretty tight down here too. There's not a lot of wiggle room. So, and here at the loading lever, yeah. So I just need to add probably an eighth of an inch width out here, and it'll be just fine. So I'll just have to sit down and redo the pattern.
It's not bad. Yeah, 'cause you're almost having to restart from scratch on doing your holster stuffs, aren't you?
All these patterns I do from scratch.
Well, I'm talking about like, because I know you lost when your computer crashed. You lost a lot of your PDF files.
Yeah, I did, and most of my holster stuff, I had shared onto my other desktop computer. So all my old historical photographs and stuff that I'd looked up for holsters, I still got all them. Most of my PDFs I lost were digitized Army Ordnance files that I'd found online over the years. So it's just a bunch of research time that got lost. So I can go back and find them again, but
Yeah,
I don't.
I'm just, sorry, I had to adjust. I had a leg that was asleep.
I don't do my holster patterns digitized. All my holster patterns are solid. I keep in my hand base and
Yeah, that's kind of why I did have a nice little order. Someone wanted, it was kind of like a pistol pouch, right? That would go in like their belt for their Richard Mason conversion, Colt Army, that would just basically hold blue shells. It was just basically a flap and a pouch, a thick pouch. I just took this and said, okay, how deep do you want it? He says, well, at least, hold a couple, like around 50 rounds of 45 Colt. That fills up there on that box. So I made a mark that high on the leather, cut, made a mark that doubled that. No, I cut that out, and then I made one that would come up to where it would actually a little higher than that, but not meet the actual same size, just a little shorter, and then wet formed it over a box like a piece of 2x4.
Yeah.
And then just kind of flared the ends out, and then put them together and sewed it up, punched holes and sewed. And then I attached the flap, and then that's kind of where I found the love for these. This kind of stitching right here, because it was just so much simpler instead of going all the way around. This way, if I need a little bit thicker, I didn't know how thick his belt was, and I asked him. He says, "It's 2-3 inches." Well, what is it, 2 or 3 inches? I don't know.
It's always better to make it a little bit lighter.
Well, will fit a 2-inch belt and still have wiggle room, a little bit of movement to it. And this will fit a 3-inch, well, not a 3-inch gun belt. I should make that distinction because they're a little bit thicker, like just a leather belt.
Yeah.
And still have a little bit of movement. And so I guess you could say it's my universal 2-3 inch. I'd have to make something completely different for a gun belt, a 3-inch gun belt, because they're just thicker than the standard leather belts that you can go buy at like Hobby Lobby and make. But the kit that you can put together. Which, I mean, depends. I guess depends on how fancy the leather worker was. I mean, you could have some of those scenes on those belts that they had.
Yeah.
So I've seen but of course it's kind of hard to look at someone's belt in photographs. So half the time there's a hand in front of it, a rifle, piece of clothing. It's doable, but I just don't want to sit there and zoom and do all this. Hey, is that a deer or
Sell them to send you with a picture with a belt laid over a $1 bill. A $1 bill is 6 inches. If it takes up half, it's a 3-inch. If it takes up
Okay.
a little less than half, it's probably a 2-inch.
Okay. But I'm gonna when I get some more leather, I'm gonna do that again and make another one. I kind of want one now.
The
It
one
turned out
pattern I've
good.
been find and I can't find anywhere is for the Civil War style pistol cartridge, paper cartridge box.
I think in that PDF file I sent you, it had a picture of that. Well,
Okay.
at least the outside. It didn't have like the inside.
Right. I'll look into that. But yeah, I found a place that sells a kit. And the other thing was I was going to try to make a cap box too, but I've found a place online that sells the kits. You buy the kits, but there's no instructions. There's no holes punched. All it is the pieces of leather that are pre-cut. Then you got to do all the sewing and figure out where everything goes.
What is it? What channel is it? I think 11 Company. They do a lot of. It's 11 Company something. They do like a lot of Civil War stuff.
11th Ohio.
Yes, that one.
Yeah,
I think they did. They did. I think they did a leather video about that kit, about how to make that.
I'm not sure if they did. There's another one on there. There's another 11th. I want to say Pennsylvania. But that guy that done those kits had sent that one to him to test. God, I can't even think of that one now. I just watched it not too long ago. Let me look at my YouTube history here.
When I was looking at, after I shortly bought this, and you know who I bought this from. He runs a very prominent group on Facebook, and he's been on this chat before. I mean,
yeah,
Senor Don.
Yeah, I've been him for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I got this. He just messaged me one day and said, "Hey, you want this sharp?" Yeah, can you wait a little bit? I just got some insurance money that just needs to clear the bank. Just give me, until it clears the bank, and then I'll send you the money.
Like, I think he mentioned to me at one time that he was selling that gun, and I told him I wasn't in the market for it right now at the time.
Yeah, well, it's had a very good home, and it's gotten, since I got it, I think 2 years, 3 years now.
And
would have had
want me to buy a 1903 .6 Springfield. It's like, yeah, I just right now I can't even hardly afford to buy the leather to make more holsters.
That's why when I do like a custom piece of work, I'm like, okay, all I can get in my hand, all I can get is like those Hobby Lobby $40 pieces, and I'll get maybe $30 worth of usable leather out of it.
What kind are you getting from Hobby Lobby for $40?
It's this kind. It's holster making leather. I mean, it's this right. Well, this one's a little beveled. I beveled the edges to make it come out easier. But, I mean, it's holster.
Veg tan.
Yeah, veg tan.
Yeah. Double shoulder or single
shoulder? I think it's shoulder.
Yeah, if you go on Tandy every once in a while, you can get a double shoulder. They've gone up in price. Of course, everything's going up in price right now. But I think the double shoulder now is $60, and out of a double shoulder, I can get easily get a dozen Slim Jims or 6, 7 flap holsters, or not flap holsters, loop holsters.
Like I said, it depends on the project. Yeah, that's right there. But that's okay. Like I said, I mean, that's where I can get the most of, but usually, because I do have, what's funny is I have a Tandy leather shop in Arkansas, right? It's not close by any means. But I've called them there. Called them, right? They sell tools. And small 5x5 leather scraps.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and some tandy stores do that, but when I was in Rapid City, they had a tandy store there. I could easily get a double shoulder from them. Half hides was special order. But I order them online because there's a tandy store up in Colorado Springs, which ain't too far from me. If I put the order in Monday morning, 8 o'clock or Sunday night before midnight, I have the leather delivered usually Tuesday at noon.
well, that's not bad. But no, but I've got like Hobby Lobbies all around me.
Yeah.
And I can go pick up. They got a $30 one and then a $40 one. And I usually pick up the $40 one because I can get 2, 3, maybe 4 good holsters, depending on barrel length and all that stuff, right?
Right.
Because I mean, if it's got a shorter barrel length, I can get double the amount of making a bunch of short ones, more holsters. But then I got the scraps that I can prototype stuff with.
Right. Yeah.
Hold on. And that allows me to, one, hone my skills, keep up on my skills, get better, and not feel bad about it. Because on this one, the reason why I did that, I did use this piece instead of actually making a holster out of it. Because I could have made a nice little snub nose holster, like a semi-automatic out of like the leather that was left. But I had a thick piece, then a thin piece that tapered into a big piece.
Right.
So I mean, these two are the same size here, but up here and here are 2 different sizes. So I mean, it's.
Well, I had somebody ask me one time, how come I charge so much more for a Mexican loop holster than what I charge for a Slim Jim holster? Mexican
There's
loop,
more material.
You're using half again as much leather as you did for the Slim Jim. So Slim Jim's one piece of leather.
Yeah.
This is one piece of leather too, but then it's got this flap that takes up half of what the body of the holster took up. So
I
you
think
can't
it's
get as
still
many
up
of them
there.
out of the double shoulder as you can a Slim Jim.
That is true, and
all right-handed holsters, it's really hard to cut them to where you don't have as much waste, unless you got a left-handed holster in there. Then you can cut more. But this one here is my first prototype, and it's the first prototype that turned out right on the first try.
well, that's good. I really like making slings though, because a lot of the times I'll have couple pieces that are thin, because I keep a scrap box, like thin stuff, like this piece right here, that was out of my scrap box. It was just a piece, and I just right. There's no sense in wasting it, waste not, want not. And sometimes I'll have like 2-3 inch pieces that I just can't really use for anything but to put into a swivel because they're not very long, or make into a flap that goes over a hand,
Tell you what, though, I'm kind of sad that this one didn't. This is a real pretty looking holster, but I'm sad it didn't turn out on the first try.
Hey, you can use it for a Patterson holster.
Well, it's kind of big up top for a Patterson. Let me grab my Patterson. The Patterson I got, the barrel's way too long. It'll stick out the end of
Yeah,
it.
you got the Texas model of Patterson, don't you?
I've got a Uberti that's got a shorter barrel on it, but it's currently over at my uncle's house right now. You know what? This Patterson don't even want to go in there.
Really?
Yeah, that's how tight it is on the barrel.
Hold on one second. All right, sorry.
The cylinder is what's hanging up on it too. It needs a little bit more room here at the cylinder, but yeah, it sticks out about an inch.
Well, that's not bad. Couldn't you take a piece of leather and follow that shape, like kind of like you would for like a knife sheath, and expand it out a little bit?
Yeah, I could, but it looks tacky when you do that.
Yeah, I know. Hold on one second. I understand what you say about that. Hold on one second. I gotta get it to work. Because now I didn't make this holster. I paid for this holster. And I should have went to you instead. I feel like an idiot for doing it. I mean, it's a nice holster and everything, but I've already had to replace these twice. Had to replace the back of that one twice. And I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but there's what. See, there's 3 pieces of leather.
Yeah, I put a welt in it.
Yeah, but it goes all the way down until here, until underneath this little thing. And then, and also the threads are pulling apart. So I'm going to have to go through here and resew it.
That's why I like the back stitch. I try to make my holsters where they're not tight enough that the threads pull apart, but I haven't had any of mine start to pull apart. And I think the reason for that is when I start stitching, a lot of guys will start stitching down here at the bottom and work their way all the way back up and then finish off here at the trigger guard. And for me, that's where it's going to start having the most stress pulling out. So I actually start up here and start my saddle stitch down. And with that way, I never have them come apart up there.
Well, for when I actually make something, I'll use the saddle stitch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I actually don't want it to pull apart. But if I'm just prototyping something, I just use a simple loop stitch where it, goes in, pulls tight, pulls tight, pulls tight, pulls tight. Kind of like you're crocheting it. I mean, that's just simple. And it does pull it together and hold it.
The only thing with that kind of stitch is your threads are going to get worn over time.
Like I said, it's
the saddle stitch. If you take and cut the stitching groove in and then stitch within that groove, the threads get pulled down below the surface of the leather, and then they don't have a chance to really get worn as much or as easily, and that's why they last a lot longer.
Oh, like I said, that's what I will do. But I'm just saying, for something like that, just a prototype.
Yeah.
That way, I can just cut that knot and just pluck it out, put it over the leather, trace, and then if okay, I need a little bit here, you know, I want a little bit here. I need to add a little bit more here. You know, all on a piece of paper, you know. Yeah, it just makes it more simple. Because I actually made that trying to be California Slim Jim for a 50 cal.
Yeah.
Had it measured out and everything correctly, everything right. Get to cutting. I'm 2 inches short in the freaking middle. I couldn't connect the two. So like,
Yep.
maybe you'll get my 44 touch.
Yeah.
And the 50 cal I have, I would need a little bit of something right here because it's got one of those things you thumb down to put the 209 primer. Then
Right.
it's got a falling pin. So I need that, you know, so it would go in a little deeper. So that's where that originated, and I just made it bigger so I can pull the cylinder free, or not cylinder free, the barrel freer faster. I was actually trying to make the Navy version of for the single shot, so it would stop about there and let the barrel go through and hang out a little bit. And why it was done like that, like an early one, I think it was called the frog leg, where they just be kind of attached to a belt somewhere, and it's just barrel part, you know, it's just like a flap of leather and then attached to a belt. I think it was attached somewhere on the person's belt. You see, like in a lot of pirate photos.
Oh yeah. So it's just basically a loop of leather.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to make. And like I said, I was short, so I'm like, that failed. So I just kept prototyping and prototyping and prototyping, you know. Until eventually I got that. But so, when are just out of pure curiosity, when are you gonna make another video? Because Mama Murphy says she missed my.
I've got a couple of videos that are filmed, but when I got COVID back in December, because I got another boat project video I was working on where I cut some of the rotten wood out of the boat. I got that filmed, and then I got COVID, and I just I didn't feel like doing anything. Since then, I've been so busy trying to do other stuff around the house that I just haven't bothered editing it. But I've got that, and then I got a video where I took this Pieta Patterson out to the range and tried to shoot it, and it was a crappy the gun threw such a fit that I don't know if I want to really post that video or not. I don't have anything nice to say about it in the video. And
I would post it.
I think I got one more video with a shotgun that I tried. I think it was with the lever action shotgun that I need to put together and put out there. But yeah, filming right now with everything. It's filming and the weather's crappy too.
Oh, I figured with the weather, yeah, it ain't gonna be soon, but you know.
But for shooting videos, I don't know when I'll do another one. And then there's a chance I might be going to Wyoming this summer for work, so I'll have to see how that works out.
Plowboy says, I ain't shooting anything, and I'm tired of talking politics. My next video may be me throwing rocks at beer cans.
There you go, Plowboy.
I don't know if you heard that, Plowboy, or not, but Mama Murphy said she'd pay to see that. if my other phone would work right, or my phone would work right, I'd send Plowboy an invite. But I ain't messing with that thing right now. It's demon possessed. I push the side button and it starts. You start hearing this live stream, even though I've closed my Google Chrome.
What's funny on that throwing rocks thing? So I've been trying to do some more kind of I don't know, you say prepper survival stuff, trying to put together, kind of a bug out bag and stuff. And I was thinking, I ought to get one of those shepherd slings and put in there just in case, I get bugged out and I don't have any ammo for a gun or something. I can still procure some meat. So I went online. I've got like a ton of paracord sitting around the house because a couple of years ago I started trying to make duck call lanyards and game carriers and stuff like that. So anyway, I go online and I find this pattern for a shepherd sling. And so I weave it, and I went out to try to start throwing rocks at that damn thing. And I got it up and I got it going, and I whipped it around to throw that rock, and the rock didn't go straight. It went off this way. And I'm sitting in my grandmother's yard. My uncle's yard's right adjacent to hers. I thrown it in my uncle's yard, and I thought, I'll try to smack the old grill that's in the yard because, it's a big target. It'd be hard to miss. The rock goes out over to my uncle's yard. It flies about 250 feet and hits my dog in the ass. She's dead asleep. Boy, she came up fighting. I felt so bad. And then I thought, well, crap, I'm going to try, maybe try to do a smaller rock or something. So I try to fling one. It comes back and hits me in the back of the head. And I thought, well, crap, maybe it's the type of rocks I'm using. And I thought, well, I got a 69 caliber musket ball. I'll try to launch that. I tried to launch that, and it turns loose, and it goes behind me and winds up in the road. And I thought, you know what? I'm done with that. So then I went on and found one that had a pattern for you just take a couple leather strips, and then you tie power cord on there, and you use the leather strips to make the little basket. Because apparently my basket isn't big enough and it's too tightly woven. It won't hold on to the rock. So I'm going to make a leather one here one of these days.
But bringing it back to COVID, confirmed by 3 different doctors, I am immune to the damn thing.
Ha!
Yeah.
I've had it twice, and I don't recommend it either time. And what's funny is I thought, my grandmother has COPD real bad. My dad's got lung issues. He's on oxygen 24/7. I'm thinking, if either one of them gets sick, I'm going to have to start, making out my goodbyes and get ready. So brother-in-law brings it home. His symptom is he loses his sense of taste, and that's it. My sister gets it. She gets it pretty hard. And my grandmother gets it. She starts showing symptoms the same day I do. And my dad does as well. He's thinking, oh, crap, Grandma had a fever for 2 hours, and she was done with it. That was it. That was the extent of her COVID. She had a fever for 2 hours and coughed for 3 days. My dad had a fever for a day and coughed for about 2 or 3 days afterwards, and that was his extent. Me, I had a fever for 3 days, and I was still coughing a week later. And it wasn't as bad the second time as it was the first time. It was a lot better. The first time, I was down for about 2 weeks, and I was just at the point where I was saying, I need to go get some medical attention when it finally started getting better. Because I was having to crawl just to get to the bathroom. I couldn't breathe enough to walk to the bathroom. I had to crawl. But, yeah, it's funny. 80-year-old woman fought it off better than I did. And I was worried about her.
Well, let's face it. She went through God knows what kind of diseases and stuff in her time. Drinking water out of a water hose.
Her brother my Uncle Jim is our last surviving brother. At the time when COVID was going around back in March, before that it was in February. No, it wasn't. It was in March because I was home when it happened. Um, anyway, he went into the hospital with pneumonia, and they tested him, and he did not have COVID, but he had pneumonia real bad, and he had major lung problems, worse than my grandmother does. And they took him in. They thought he was doing better, and then he just was gone. And being there was one person in that hospital that had COVID that was down the hall from him, they put on his death certificate as being COVID that killed him. And my family had to fight and fight and fight, and I guess they finally got it put on there that it was pneumonia that got him. But yeah, they tried to count him as a COVID death.
That's fucking bullshit. But Plowboy...
Figure that hospitals get $3,500 extra per COVID patient. Yeah, they start fudging numbers.
Oh, yeah, I guarantee you. Plowboy said his ex-wife's parents were both hospitalized with it. His sister-in-law was in the hospital for near 2 months. His brother is still in there after 2 months plus. He's on a ventilator. I don't know. I don't know. I know the last two are bad news. I don't know about the first one, though. It depends if, your point of how his parents-in-laws were. I don't know if that's good news or not.
Yeah, it can be nasty stuff, but
oh yeah,
everybody wants to focus on the people are dying, but they don't want to realize that it's still got a pretty high survivability rate. There's a lot of fear mongering that's going in with it, but I don't want to downplay it. It's not a nice disease.
Oh no, it's not.
But what I find interesting is that our governor, I don't know what the governor of Arkansas or any other governors have done, but our governor come back in last August saying, yeah, we got to have to wear masks, and within 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, we'll have this beat. We won't have to wear masks anymore. It has been, I don't know how many months it is between August and February, but we're still got a mask order. And you know what? It didn't slow down. It peaked with the mask order. So
yeah, because
I don't think masks are doing as much as they're letting on.
Well, okay, here's the thing with the mask. It's a piece of cloth. You breathe out. You breathe in. That COVID, if there was COVID in your general 12-foot radius, not 6 foot, 12 foot, it's now it's most likely in your mask. If you do not take it home that night when you're done wearing it and washing it, all that COVID is doing is growing on the other side now. So when you put that mask on, you now put COVID in your nose, in your mouth, all over your face, which means they can go in through the skin particles, in through your eyes, around your ears. There's a lot of ways that the COVID can get in, and germs like eyeballs because they're moist. They like the nose because it's warm and moist. They love the mouth because it's warm and moist, and, well, there's still a lot of bacteria in there that they can feed off of. This is literally 9th grade freaking biology, people. You take your mask off, you throw in a washer, you throw in a cup of bleach, you throw that thing in there by itself on hot water, then you throw that thing right in the dryer, and you let it run as long as you can run it, and now it's sanitized as best you can get it.
With the disposable masks is that I don't know how many times I've been out when Dad and I were hunting. You go out to the lakes and stuff, and there's freaking disposable masks all over the place.
With disposable masks, you have a 2-hour wear period before the whole thing's contaminated. After
But
2 hours, you're supposed to take them off and put them back on.
the thing that aggravates me is that the people aren't throwing them away in the trash. They just take them off and let them go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That aggravates me.
But the thing, what's fucked up though is they end up in lakes and streams and everything. So it's blamed on people that hunt and fish and all that stuff.
Yeah.
When it's usually people in a Walmart parking lot that threw it, the wind picked it up and took it there.
Or in the case of the one lake that we like to go hunt at, where we've seen a lot of it, that lake is a real popular, what locals call a hobo camp. You get all these RVers that are just traveling through, and they'll all set up and they'll camp at this lake. And in Colorado, you're only allowed to camp on a state wildlife area for 14 days. And as of this year, in order to do that on state wildlife areas, you have to have a valid hunting or fishing license, because the state wildlife areas are purchased or leased with hunting and fishing license dollars. So this year it's slowed down a little bit compared to last year for the amount of hobos, but this lake still gets tore up by just people that are just out there camping and not cleaning up after themselves. Dad and I went down when duck season opened, and there was, I don't know, 4 or 5 campers, a couple tents on this lake. Had one lady that got ticked off and had the audacity to come yell at us for shooting before the sun come up, because got half hour before daylight when you start hunting ducks. We told her, it's like, this is a state wildlife area. This is for hunting and fishing. It's hunting season. This is opening day of duck season. You should have done that research if you didn't want to be woken up by shotguns blasting before daylight.
Right.
But yeah, and then once it got real cold and all them people got tired of us duck hunters shooting every morning, after they kind of picked up and left, Dad and I went over to this one spot that was real popular with them, and there was where they dug a pit into the sand for their outhouse was still there. There was human waste in it. There was diapers scattered all around. Their tent, they didn't even bother to pick up their tent when they left. They left the tent there with a bunch of stuff in it. I told Dad, I said, we ought to just grab some of this stuff and take it. But then we'd get in trouble and they'd say we was trying to steal their stuff. But we went and after we seen it, the camp had been abandoned, we went and notified the game warden, and it's the places, the caretakers, there's an agreement between the state and the county on taking care of it. So we let the guy, the caretaker of the property, know, and he went over and cleaned it up, and he says, I'm just going to take all that stuff and throw it in the dumpster. He said, if they haven't picked it up in 3 days, they're not coming back for, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. Well, we're hitting
over there and leave their bottles, dump their trash, and
yeah, but it's the hunters and stuff's fault. But we are going to have to end this because it's getting late here. And so that means I got to open up this phone, so you might hear me. It might echo for a second. Mute. There we go. But anyway, guys. Oh wait, hold on. I didn't even.
Yeah, whiskey is a good cure-all there, Plowboy.
Yes, it is.
And the thing is, when I got COVID, I've been in and out of quarantine because my nieces had got exposed, my sister got exposed, my mom got exposed. So from the end of November clear up into the front of January, I kept getting put in quarantine because I kept getting exposed to people that kept getting exposed. But I didn't go out. From the end of November clear up until, I haven't been to Walmart since November when I went looking for ammunition. I hadn't been out traveling either, and I got it. My brother-in-law brought it home from work. So
Well, like I said, I wanted here, and I hope everyone's had a good time. If you're in a cold Arctic area, I hope you stay warm, guys.
Yeah,
And
it's cold.
hopefully we'll try doing this more often now. 'Cause I miss having the live streams, if nothing else. They're a good way to catch up with friends and stuff, because we don't talk a lot on Facebook. We share memes trying to see who gets in jail first.
Yeah.
So
Just
far, you're
post
winning.
Post the First Amendment and you're in Facebook jail.
Maybe I should do that.
I don't know. As funny as I'll tell that story right quick while we're still on air. So yeah, I got put in Facebook jail for 20 some days. It's supposed to be 30, but they let me out on early release, I guess, for good behavior. So when things were going on in a certain place at a certain time, I got on Facebook there and I just posted the text of the First Amendment just to post it. And Facebook flagged it, gave me a warning. I said, screw that. So then I went on and I just started copy and pasting quotes from the founding fathers, and I just kept posting them. I posted 5 or 6, 7, 8 of them. And yeah, then Facebook gave me another warning. Said they're going to throw me in jail if I kept it up. So then I posted the First Amendment again. This time I highlighted in bold the part of freedom of speech. And they said, all right, you're posting stuff that goes against our community standards. So we're banning you from posting and messaging and stuff for 30 days. I was like, crap. Well, then after the inauguration, the day after the inauguration, I got let out of jail. Out of the Facebook jail. So, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous out there. You can't even post our Constitution of the United States without throwing a fit. But, yeah, fun times.
Oh, just at the end. That way, whoever watches this has to watch it all the way at the end. Trump beat not 1, but 2 impeachment trials. He is the first president that I know of in history to not beat 1, but 2 impeachment trials.
Oh, God. I just seen a joke about that, too. Let me see if it's still on my Facebook before you go. I got to see if it's still there. It's not. It won't take me a quick second to find it here. I can't remember what the exact words of it were, but oh, and then he had to post a whole bunch more since then. Where did it go?
Well, if it's still on
the new definition of MAGA is my ass got acquitted again.
Is he still known you as Gunslinger?
Yeah.
Well then, hold on. Gunslinger?
What's up?
I have a question. How many people how many presidents in our history has been even attempted to be impeached?
If I'm not mistaken, there was in my lifetime. There's Trump twice, Bill Clinton.
Yep.
I know Ronald Reagan.
Did Reagan get impeached?
I'm not sure if the charges were ever actually finalized.
I know Nixon didn't get it because Nixon resigned before they could get it all together.
That's who I might be thinking of.
And then Andrew Johnson was the only one that was impeached and removed from office.
Yeah, that's who I was trying to think of. So, I mean, maybe 5, 6. I think total. Because we might be missing somebody.
There's Johnson. There was Nixon didn't count. Then there's Clinton and there's Trump. I think there's not very many.
I know. But
No.
I think didn't they try to
No.
impeach Andrew Jackson at one point, but there wasn't enough evidence.
I don't know. We can do a quick Google search right quick and see.
For two history buffs, we should really know this shit.
Hey, you know what the number one search on Google is right now?
What?
When you type in how many, and it comes up automatically. Presidents have been impeached.
So I just asked the number one Google question.
Yes, apparently.
High five to you.
Okay, now it's got a whole big thing about Trump being Okay, three presidents have faced impeachment proceedings, and only 2 of those 3 were impeached. So Andrew Johnson, yeah, I knew he got impeached. He was acquitted. I thought he was removed. He was acquitted by 1 vote. Nixon faced it, but he resigned. Bill Clinton was impeached, but he was acquitted. And Trump has been impeached twice and been acquitted. We know that.
Twice.
Yeah, that just goes to show you that, yeah, it's kind of a witch hunt when you impeach the same guy twice and you can't get it either time.
Well, my question is, why would they do it the second time? He wasn't even in freaking office.
Yeah. Well, it's so that he can't run in 2024 was the whole point. And I do not doubt he will be back in 2024.
Wouldn't surprise me.
And
yeah, in 2024.
And the thing that ticked me off about the second time around is his exact wording, and he says it, is, go down there and peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. They tried to say he's inciting a riot. You listen to Maxine Waters and Pelosi and Schumer and several other of those on the other side of the coin, and some of the things they've said over the past summer when there was protests going on across the country, that right there, I mean, they are calling for violence. They're calling for him to go out and do stuff. Why aren't they being impeached for inciting riots?
I don't know.
Insurrection. It is so one-sided on there. There's so much hypocrisy. It's not even funny.
Oh, yeah. I know.
That's why I think they need to pass a law that says the only way you can hold public office is if you've had military service, and make it a minimum of 4 years.
Well,
no. Thunderdome for all elections.
There you go. That one too. That'll work too.
Now that would, and no, and it's not to who is first knocked out. It's first to death. The one that dies loses.
When they get in office, if they don't keep their promises, break the deal, spin the wheel.
All right.
No one make this world Mad Max. Make it Fallout.
If they keep it the way going like it is, it's going to be a Fallout Mad Max combo bullshit.
Racing vehicles with people obsessed with cars and massive amount of radiation everywhere.
Probably.
Yeah, I could see that.
Here's the thing, honestly. Who's going to be taking care of our giant nuclear warheads?
Super mutants.
I mean, so eventually their casings are going to rupture and radiation flow out. I mean, that's just simple decay. I mean, nuclear power plants. There's one here in Arkansas that's already attempted to melt down due to poor maintenance.
They want to put in one of them freaking nuclear power plants down close to where I live, and I'm like, no way. Because we've had Chernobyl, we've had 3 Mile Island, Fukushima. Fukushima, the last I heard, is still dumping radiation into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, no nuclear. Yeah, it produces a lot of energy, but, at what cost? Somebody fall asleep on watch and all of a sudden it melts down. Oh, boy, we in trouble.
Right.
At least when an oil rig goes to hell, it's pretty easy to clean. They can clean that up relatively quick. Radiation, you ain't cleaning that stuff up real soon.
You got 500 years.
No, Chernobyl is going to take 21,000 years. I think is what they
Oh,
said. At
was
least
it that
21,000.
bad?
Yeah, that's
Well,
how
no,
long
they
it'll take
said from,
that radiation to break down.
Your hands are warm.
Why are they so cold?
Anyway, let's get off here before we really get both our channels fucked over.
Yeah, we've been going for an extra 20 minutes here.
I just started wordy dirty.
He said the dirty way.
Oh well, you're not even supposed to be. If you're over under the age of 18, get the out of here. Anyway, see you guys.